Well, hey there, Pawpaws Chronicles. Well, today I wanted to come out here and share something with you and talk for a little while and possibly help some of you out as we're going and talk about grafting. You know, a lot of people out there really don't know what grafting is, but let's see if I can get this open. This is a grafting knife. And what I'm going to do is, I took this stick and what I did is I cut it in half. Now, this is just for explanation of what it is I'm doing. Some people have a hard time grasping what it is that you are doing when you're grafting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at this. Well, here's the bigger one. I went and I cut a cherry limb off of a cherry tree. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rejoin these two pieces back together. Now, I cut a wedge right here. And I need to figure out a way to make this more flat. There. Now I did this with a cherry stick. And the reason why I'm using a cherry stick is because a cherry is a soft wood and it's good for practicing. And what I just done is I took this, when I cut it off, I took a slice right down the middle. You can see that. And then I cut a shim on this one. Now I heard somebody at one time say you're performing surgery. No, you're not. What you're doing is you're taking two sticks and you're going to shove them together just like that. And then you're going to wrap it up with a material called parafilm. That is the easiest graft that you can come up with. And you can see it's all held together. Now, I could have went ahead and said, you know what, let me show them how to do a tongue and whip. But a tongue and whip is a little bit more complicated. You know, it's not surgery. You're putting two sticks together, you're lining them up the way you want to line them up to do your graft, and then you allow it to heal itself as it's growing. Imagine, if you will, this right here is the rootstock. This right here is a piece of wood that is called scion. I practice on the cherry stick because the cherry stick is easy to work with. Pull them apart, there you have it. Now, most of you may not realize this, but I've only been grafting for 2 years. The first trees I ever grafted was in 2020. I looked at how to graft online, tried to grasp a concept about grafting, and then I practiced with cherry sticks in 2021, in the fall by the way, to mend the two pieces together. I looked at another technique called tongue and whip, and I even did it with that. And I practiced those throughout the fall, working those sticks together and see how it works. See how we can get those sticks to fit to one another. And I followed a few videos on how to graft, and that's how I learned to graft. Now that I've said that, right here is a grafted tree, but it's multiple grafts, as I've explained before. We've got 11 grafts going on in this tree, and all 11 grafts are of the same variety. I didn't put multiple varieties in this tree. This is a tree, it's a pawpaw, and the variety is called canopus. That being said, now eventually what will end up happening if I'm not caring for the property is I'll have root suckers coming off this tree. As you can see, the tree itself is in full sunlight. This is key for a pawpaw as far as fruit productivity. You want fruit productivity, you'll get better fruit productivity out of a pawpaw if it's setting inside of full sunlight. Right now we're in the fall, and the angling of the sun is more to the south, and I'm picking up shade from some willow trees and other trees right there along the creek bank. But for the most part, during the summer, it's way overhead, and we're direct sunlight. Now that being said, if I didn't care for this ground out here and keep it mowed down, what would I have? Eventually what I would have is root suckers coming up everywhere. And as time goes on, I allow those root suckers to continue to go. What do I have? I have a big thicket. And with that thicket, what am I going to end up with? Well, I'm going to end up with everything coming from the root stock. All this out here will actually be coming off this root stock. Now in grafting, we know that you don't want anything living off the root stock. You want everything that you grafted to live. So I'm not going to allow root suckers to grow around here if it's a grafted tree. If that's not a grafted tree and it's producing very well, eventually what happens is the root suckers will come out here and they're all competing for nutrients from one root system. So the best thing that I can think of to do is to knock that competition back, come in, cut the lateral root coming from the root sucker to the tree, and separate that root sucker from the tree. So that root sucker has the opportunity to grow its own root system and find nutrients on its own. Because eventually what will happen, if this is a grafted tree and root suckers come up, eventually what will end up happening is the root suckers will overcome the grafted tree. We don't want that. What we want is the tree that we grafted into to be what it is that we grafted. That's my personal opinion. But a lot of folks that don't understand the concept behind grafting, they don't catch that. And that being said, you know, I surf a lot of pawpaw pages that we have out there. We got about 12 different pawpaw pages, I believe. Could be more. And I'm a member of each one of those pawpaw pages. And by the way, my advice to you is to check out the other pages. Do a little bit of research. You'll come across the other pawpaw pages. There's a lot of information on each individual pawpaw page that we all can learn from. It's not just Pawpaw Chronicles, although I enjoy having as many members on the group as possible that we can learn from one another. But the thing about it is, you have others, Pawpaw Fan Club, Pawpaw Nation, Pawpaw Fanatics. There's a couple of them out of Canada, Pawpaw France. You've got so many. There's even one called Asimina Triloba, Greece. It's a newer one. And Highlands, pawpaw growers. There's a number of different pawpaw groups out there, and myself, I go on to all those groups and follow what's going on those groups, and I collect that information, and that information gives me more knowledge of what it is I'm doing, and I try to share as much as I possibly can within the Chronicles. I do share on some of the other groups, but not as much as I do on the Chronicles. It's just something that I want to talk to you about. You know, grafting can be intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. All you have to do is reach out there and decide to, you know what, I'm going to do this. I did it. And you see what I did. This is just 2 years. My second year of grafting. And this is what I did. Why? Because I did not allow grafting to intimidate me. Now, I've tried a little bit of grafting on the persimmons, and next year I'm going to be grafting some persimmons I have on the property. And I'm going to try to tackle something that I have going on. Too many male trees, not enough females. Good thing about it is we don't have to worry about that with pawpaws. All you need is 2 genetically different trees to get fruit. That's all you need. But anyways, just something I wanted to share with the group. I hope you all are enjoying the page, and as I said, reach out to other groups and see what else you can learn. And if you learn something from other groups, bring it back to this group and share. You all have a God bless day.